Hola clase, today we will be looking at indirect object pronouns. And these are a little bit tricky to use in Spanish for English speakers. They're not tricky for Spanish speakers. So first we have to learn the forms, and those are given here. Me, te, le, nos, os, los. You'll recognize that they look very similar to direct object pronouns that you learned before. But the use is slightly different, and that's because the indirect object pronoun is kind of like a referential pronoun. That is, it points to the fact that there's an indirect object in the sentence. So in the case of most pronouns, for instance, direct object pronouns or subject pronouns, you would either have the noun or you would have the pronoun. Pronoun means that you're going to use it in favor of the noun instead of the noun. But with indirect object pronouns, the sentence requires the indirect object pronoun, and it may also include the indirect object. So they're not mutually exclusive. What is required is the pronoun, even if the indirect object is present in the sentence. That doesn't happen with subjects. We would say, Marcos me llamó, or we say, él me llamó. Veo la televisión or la veo, one or the other. But with indirect object pronouns, we need the pronoun and we may also include the object. So let's see some examples of that. Roberto le da un regalo a María. A María is the indirect object, and yet here's the pronoun identifying María. This is common. When the object pronoun is third person, it can refer to anybody in the world. And so we often include the indirect object together with the indirect object pronoun. When the indirect object pronoun is something obvious like me or te, then it's not necessary to include the object as well, the noun as well. So, Roberto le da un regalo a María. ¿A quién le da un regalo Roberto? A María. Bien. Grammatically, we can omit a María if we know who we're talking about. But it's generally frowned upon to omit the pronoun. It would certainly be understood, Roberto da un regalo a María, but even more accurate would be Roberto le da un regalo a María. Bien, le da un regalo. Bien, so here you have those, and then an explanation that you can read through. Bien. And there. Here are some common verbs that we've given you. These verbs take the indirect object pronouns frequently. So for instance, dar, because dar means to give, you often give somebody something, then you need an indirect object. And dar agua a las plantas, dar un hueso al perro, dar un libro a un amigo. Bien, same with regalar, decir, you say something to someone, you give something to someone. Escribir una carta a mis amigos, escribir una tarjeta a mi mamá. So you write something to someone. You sell something to someone. Le vendí una bicicleta a mi vecino. You buy something from someone, or you buy something for someone. Bien, you invite someone somewhere, etc., etc. So all of these verbs take the indirect object pronouns very easily and very naturally. You should learn them, and you should read through this page and also practice creating your own sentences with family members or friends. For instance, did you give a significant other anything on Valentine's Day? You could say, le di flores y chocolates a mi novia este día de los enamorados. Or did you give anybody something on their birthday? Le di una bicicleta a mi hija en su cumpleaños. Or did someone give you something on one of your holidays? You could say, mi tía me dio un libro en la Navidad. So practice how it relates to your own experience this year or previous years. Bien, buena suerte, study it thoroughly, and then try these exercises. We've included quite a few exercises in this unit so that you have ample opportunity to practice. Muy bien, hasta luego clase.